Shohei Ohtani's knee just threw the Dodgers a curveball nobody saw coming, and if you're a fan of this team you need to hear what's really going on before the next start gets cancelled too, because Saturday was supposed to be another step forward in Ohtani's return to the mound, and instead it turned into another red flag that has Dave Roberts choosing his words very carefully. The plan was simple: Ohtani throws a bullpen session in Philadelphia on Wednesday, feels good, comes back and throws another one on Saturday, builds up his arm strength and gets closer to a real return as a two-way threat, but that's not what happened. After 30 pitches on Wednesday, something changed. Ohtani didn't feel right, and instead of pushing through it, the Dodgers made the call to shut down Saturday's session entirely, and that word Roberts used, regression, is the one that should worry every Dodgers fan right now, because this isn't the language of a team that's cautiously optimistic. This is the language of a team that just hit a wall they didn't expect. Here's what Roberts actually said. He explained that after that last bullpen session there was a little bit of regression in the knee, and that the coaching staff wants to make absolutely sure that doesn't happen again before they let him step back on a mound. Think about what that really means for a guy who has been building back from injury. One throwing session in the wrong direction can set the whole recovery timeline back. And for a competitor like Ohtani, who has been chasing full form all season, that's a tough pill to swallow. But here's the part that's actually reassuring: in the middle of all this uncertainty, his bat hasn't missed a beat. Ohtani was right back in the lineup Saturday as the designated hitter against the Mets in New York, because here's the key detail: running and hitting haven't been bothering the knee at all. It's specifically the mechanics of pitching off a mound that's causing the issue, and that separation matters a lot because it tells you this isn't a structural setback threatening his overall health. It's a very specific stress point tied to pitching motion, and that's actually a more manageable problem than if his hitting was compromised too. Roberts made it clear that patience is the priority right now. He said they are not going to move forward with him throwing off a mound again until Ohtani feels 100% confident and until the training staff feels the same way. That's a two-way trust system. His body has to feel ready and the people managing his workload have to agree, and right now both boxes aren't checked yet. Now you might be wondering if this has anything to do with the All-Star break, because Ohtani did get extended rest during that stretch last week, but Roberts actually shut that theory down directly. He said he wasn't concerned about the time off at all, and in fact the knee is in a better place now compared to before the break. His exact point was that you take the break, you come back, you throw your bullpen, and you keep building from there. That was supposed to be exactly what happened this week: throw one session Wednesday, throw another one today, and keep progressing steadily. But as Roberts put it plainly, it just wasn't meant to be this week, and that honesty from the manager is honestly refreshing. There's no spin here, no trying to make it sound better than it is, just a straightforward acknowledgement that the plan didn't go the way they hoped. Now let's talk about what this means for the bigger picture, because Ohtani isn't just any player. He's a four-time MVP, the engine behind back-to-back World Series titles for the Dodgers, and on the mound this year he's been nothing short of dominant. An 8-2 record with a 1.79 earned run average across 85 2/3 innings. That is elite level pitching by any measure, and it's exactly why every missed start matters so much right now. Missing these last two scheduled starts is a real loss, and Roberts didn't try to downplay that either. He called it a bummer for everyone, especially for Ohtani himself. You can tell there's real frustration there, not just from the coaching staff but from Ohtani as a competitor who wants to be out there contributing in every way he can. But here's where the story shifts to something more positive, because while the pitching side is on pause, the hitting side is carrying serious weight. Ohtani is hitting .286 on the season with 22 home runs and 61 runs batted in, and Roberts even said he thinks Ohtani could be doing even better than that, which honestly says a lot about the standard this guy has set for himself. When your manager says an MVP caliber season could still be better, that's the kind of pressure and expectation that comes with being Shohei Ohtani. So where does this leave the Dodgers right now? They've got a superstar who is still producing at an elite level offensively every single game, but whose return to full two-way duty is now sitting in a holding pattern with no clear timeline attached. The team's approach seems to be built around protecting the long term rather than rushing back for short-term wins, and that's probably the smartest way to handle a situation like this, especially with a player this valuable to the franchise's championship hopes. There's no panic in Roberts' tone, but there's also no false confidence. He's not promising a quick fix, he's not putting a date on the next bullpen attempt. He's simply saying they'll know when Ohtani is ready, and until then the DH role keeps him productive without adding risk to that knee. For fans, this is one of those situations where you have to trust the process, even when it's frustrating. Watching one of the best players in the sport get sidelined from half of what makes him so special is never easy, but the numbers don't lie. The bat is still elite, the production hasn't dropped off, and the team is clearly prioritizing getting this right rather than getting it done fast. So as this season moves forward, keep an eye on how the Dodgers handle the next attempted bullpen session, because that will tell you a lot about where this recovery is really headed. If Ohtani comes back and reports no regression, that's the green light everyone's been waiting for. But if there's another setback, that changes the conversation entirely. For now, the story is patience, persistence, and a player who's still putting up MVP numbers even while dealing with uncertainty on the mound, and that's the kind of resilience that makes Ohtani who he is, whether he's on the mound or in the batter's box. The standard stays the same, and right now the Dodgers are betting that giving this knee the time it needs will pay off when it matters most later in the season.